It is the RIOT. Welcome to Vacation Week.
It is Vacation Week for the RIOT, so we've got some worse stuff for you this week. So make sure to still say hello. We still get your text messages to 877-2RadioU. Or if you want to also send us anything through RadioU RIOT on our Facebook page, we might just cover your story next week when we get back in on Monday.
So, there's plenty of stuff here that I just don't remember, but I love the titles. Woman strains too hard in bathroom and loses memory.
Oh, gosh.
Little bathtubs and Wendy's sink bath. Obadiah accidentally takes Benadryl. I actually remember
That's
that.
a classic. Surprisingly, after having the medicine.
I actually did that. You'll hear the story, but I remember it, and it sounds impossible, but it totally happened.
It did.
Stop kissing your hedgehog. Activision gets sued. Big red soda and violence. Pouring ketchup. Creepy birthday parties. Dodgeball. Things of that nature. Sleeping with the lights on might make you fat.
Boy, these would be good to hear again.
Yeah, maybe while I'm on vacation, I'll listen to them.
So with this Worst of RIOT podcast, that is going to happen all this week. So it might be new stuff for you. If not, hopefully you enjoy hearing it again.
All right. Well, you guys enjoy. I'm already peeking into tomorrow.
Save
and
it
seeing
for
some
tomorrow.
gems. I will.
Have a great day. Thanks for listening to the podcast today.
Bye.
One day, a heroic time traveler will go back in time to make sure none of this ever happens. Until then, it's the Worst of the RIOT on RadioU.
You know what I think is underrated? And if you look around, it's true. Go into any, average home in America, and what do they have? They've got a shower bath combo, and what's the bath? It's big enough to put your foot in it. It's just sad. These sad little bathtubs that somehow...
Sad little bathtubs.
They are. They're sad little bathtubs
It's like when you go into an old house or an old theater from the very early 1900s where apparently people were smaller and shorter and you feel like a giant. Like with these bathtubs, you just don't fit in it.
No. Well,
and it's not just width-wise, it's height-wise.
See, I don't think they built those for adults to take a bath in. I think those are... this is my
for
theory.
Kids or something?
Hey, this will get you through your kids, and then take a shower like an adult. Come on. And so I feel your pain when it comes to this, because what I would love to do is I would love to have a huge bathtub that I could live in. I want to have a bathtub, and then I was thinking about installing essentially a soda machine where I could just keep drinking.
When you're at those pools and you can swim up to the bar.
Exactly.
And it's got the seats in it. And you're like, how does this bathtub have this? And then you swim on up to the soda machine.
Yeah. I'll tell you right now, anytime you see these kings of old that have built these insane baths and they're like, look at the decadence. And I'm like, oh, finally one that works. Finally what I'm looking for. Oh, my gosh. Which is why I have a hard time, feeling too bad or too harshly towards the guy that at Wendy's, he went ahead and took himself a bath in
the bathtub sink guy.
In the sink. You know what? He did that because he finally found a space that was big enough for him to be able to take a bath, because at home, the bath is completely inadequate. So, what's the big deal? There was soap. So I'm sure it's all clean.
But you're not supposed to when you're at your workplace. I mean, unless it's a case of apologize afterwards, ask for forgiveness then, and no one said no going into it. So now you know.
Mm-hmm. So I haven't found out whether or not, I'm
sure he's been fired.
You think so?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, don't be sure, Nikki. We should call them right now and see if they're...
I don't want to spread fake news if he's got fired or not.
Hey, guys.
I guess I assumed, mostly because it went viral for the Wendy's video, and Wendy's is not great, wonderful.
Hey, Wendy's
Thank you so much.
Wendy's likes that viral stuff.
They don't want that.
Who was it, Chance, the rapper that brought back the spicy nuggets?
Yeah, that's a different type of viral. That's good marketing. This is not.
You know what, Nikki? I just don't agree. I think this is wonderful. I think the idea of come down to Wendy's, we've been bathing with your food.
I think it was just a prep sink. I don't know.
Well, it's just a real earthy feel that I think that a lot of people...
They're really about the people and what we really want.
And I'll bet you, if we went through all of the training materials that were created for those employees, I'll bet you they were never told to not bathe in the sink.
Because no one thought that was going to happen.
That.
And I can guarantee if you go to any fast food restaurant, people will be bathing in those sink tubs too.
That's probably... This guy, he looked clean and clean cut. At least there's that.
Like, everybody's doing that during the downtime when there's not enough people to keep you busy.
Yeah, this is... The real tragedy here is when they tell you that we're getting your fries. Hang on. Fries are coming out hot.
What is taking so long? You don't know they're bathing back there.
The fry guy's in the bath. That's the problem.
Yeah, I don't know if Wendy's was too excited about that.
Well, I'm just telling you that I feel like it's society's fault. Give us bigger bathtubs.
Everything you love about the Riot, plus a handy-dandy fast-forward option. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Sometimes one of the great joys of Nikki and I's job are those gems that you find online. Oh, they're gems. You get a chance to...
You mean the stories we locate?
Get a chance to pass them on to each other. And I sent Nikki a real shiner last night. Just a diamond in the rough, as it were. There is, according to Asia One, which is an English website that collects news from Asia and presents it. They have a woman in Hong Kong who apparently
Allegedly. Well, I just want to put that. I don't believe this.
I don't believe this. Let me give you a direct quote of what Nikki said to me last night about this story. She says, and I quote, "I reject that. It can't be true."
Correct. I stand behind my statement. But you may still present it if you would like.
There's a woman in Hong Kong who was, you know what? Can I just read it to you?
Just make it nice.
I want to read this to you. It says, this is a quote from Asia1.com. Just ask one Hong Kong woman who temporarily lost 10 years of her memory after overstraining herself while defecating, according to the China press.
So? She
went to the bathroom hard and... Hey, you know what, Nikki? You go hard. You don't
Stop it. Don't ruin any motivational statements for people.
What? You leave it all on the mat.
No. Oh, no. Don't tell me any. We're dropping people off anywhere. We're not doing that.
Okay. So when she came out of the bathroom, she couldn't remember the last 10 years of her life.
When I first read the article, I didn't think her memory had come back to her, but apparently they're saying that it did. It was just temporary.
They say after, what was it, like 8 hours, 10 hours, something like that? She
returned.
So her son took her to the doctor. I'd love it to explain that one. Like, hey, doctor, my mom can't remember the last 10 years.
Well, they also had to figure out what had caused it. And then that's when they figured out, well, she'd been in the bathroom right before it happened.
Right. So what they believe is Dr. Peng Xingzong believes that this is transient global amnesia. It's a condition that could have been caused by incompetence in the internal jugular vein where blood flow to the brain is compromised. And so during a rather intense bout, oxygen was cut off to her brain. As a result.
10 years she forgot, but it came back.
It came back once, blood flow returned.
Yes, thanks for sharing this. I don't think it's true, but maybe it is. It could be medical. Could very well be.
Again,
did this ever happen on Grey's Anatomy? Because it seems like they're always looking for, that show's been on forever. I wouldn't be surprised if you see this come up in one of the medical shows.
You know what? This woman goes to the bathroom and she can't remember her husband, and she wants to see her ex-husband, I think, who's dead. And it's because he has to be dead. He can't just be out there. Or... maybe he's out there with a younger woman. Or he's out there and married to one of the interns on Grey's Anatomy.
There it is. And then her memory goes away, but comes back.
It comes back, but she has a heart attack from the shock of that, and then eventually gets her memory back.
So that's the story. Do we think it's true, or do we not?
Hey, ripped from the headlines.
It's something ripped.
Ripped from the headlines. I'm sure it's real.
The Riot. They're kind of a big deal.
Hey, can we do that again? Maybe a little more energy?
No. RadioU.
Look, everybody hear me out on this before you get all judgmental and you're like, no, we're not going to do that, okay? Just wait till the end to pass judgment. There are two things that we as a society, somewhat silently or, enforce. It's kind of like we've just kind of set standards. Nobody really set the standard. We just kind of all came to the conclusion and agreed upon it.
Yeah.
And now, it's been kind of codified. But if all of us would agree, all of us, and everybody has to be in, all of us, if we would agree to chuck hygiene out the window and just say, you know what? Sometimes I shower, but usually not. I don't need all these expensive smell good products. I'm just going to be.
You're just going to be what you're going to be?
And we did the same thing with lawn care.
You wouldn't have to do it.
We'd
What
be
about the
fine.
free time?
We'd be fine. We'd be totally fine. I see people, spend hours and just huge chunks of their lives on grass. Potentially one of the most worthless products in the world.
And then
it's just
after
worthless.
you spend all those hours on it, then you have to go spend time on hygiene because you stink.
You stink. It's interesting, Nikki, that you said that, but that's what I was thinking last night. I mowed the lawn and I was about to take a shower, and like a child, I didn't want to.
Oh, really?
I was just I don't want to take a shower.
It's necessary, though, after all that work. But because, if you go back, wind the clock back, the hygiene wasn't a priority back in the day.
Yep.
And that seems to have advanced to where we get us. And I'm sure it'll just advance even more.
And it's kind of that, not to get, there's a trickle down, it's we now live at a standard that is so far above what rich people lived at in the Middle Ages. So standard of living for everybody, almost everybody, for a lot of people is up, right? And so they used to bathe, and now we bathe. So I'm just saying that if we just decided, you know what? Who needs a lawn? Let's all just let our lawns grow.
Okay.
It's probably good for the environment.
Why don't you take it out and put in the stone one when you put in the dirt, the zero landscape?
Because, Nikki, that would be me, hurting the environment. I'm killing the grass. Now I'm letting it be free.
Just grow as it needs to grow. Die if it dies, grows if it grows.
You know what? We just let Mother Nature take care of itself. And then same thing with my body. I've heard on the internet one time that if you stop showering, at first, of course, you smell very bad, but after a while, it just evens out.
It's going to be a mess for a long time.
For a while, but then it just evens out. Your body's natural oils.
That's it. It's the oils, they always say.
Will begin to, take care of itself.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm a follower, so I'm still going to follow the trends of personal hygiene.
Nikki, the majority of us are followers, which is why that if we had a few key people that engaged in this behavior and we all followed, if everybody did it, it wouldn't be you stink. It would just be you smell normal because we've changed the normal.
That's the new normal.
Yeah.
And then it'd be odd if you come across someone who doesn't smell like that.
I feel everybody balking at the idea, but you're part of the problem right now.
Maybe you got to bring it back again to us a few times. We're not ready to accept it yet, but maybe one day.
The Riot really wanted to do this live, but now they can play video games and eat rice cakes instead. This is the worst of the Riot podcast.
I wish we had a little intro. Story time with Obi.
I'm so glad to get a chance to tell you guys what I did last night.
You need to get this out?
I do, because last night I was with some friends, and one of them was having some trouble with their allergies, and I was like, and they asked for Benadryl. And I'm like, well, I do have Benadryl. Are you sure you want to take it? You'll be asleep in 5 minutes. And no, it doesn't do that to me. It's fine. So I got it. And she was having a hard time getting it open. And I was like, okay, fine. So I took it into my kitchen and got out a pair of scissors and cut it out and got it open.
Sure.
And then my phone rang, or I got a text or something. So I got the pill in my hand and I'm looking at my phone and all this stuff. And you can already see where this is going. And so then I'm standing there and I was like, I don't even have any water. And so I got a glass of water and took the Benadryl and went back into the family room, living room thing. And they were like, did you get the
Where's the Benadryl?
And I was like, what? Didn't you get it? And I was like, oh my gosh.
You took it.
Oh my gosh. I just took it. I just took that Benadryl. I took a pill. That's how thoughtful I am. Put a pill in my hand. I'll just take it.
You went through the motions. You weren't even thinking about it.
Didn't even think. I was just oh. And I had this cup of water, this empty cup, and I was like, man, I don't even have water. So I filled the cup with water and drank the whole cup to make sure, you want at least 8 ounces to make sure the pill doesn't get stuck, and to realize the complete absent-mindedness of the motion.
Well,
I laughed forever.
It's not going to hurt you. It's just Benadryl.
It's just Benadryl, but it normally makes me crazy tired. And I just took it.
Well, you seem
I just took a pill. Well, here's the weird thing. I don't know what's going on, but I've been here for a long time.
Yeah.
I woke up really early.
Ready to go.
Really early.
Maybe that was the Benadryl.
So I didn't work out. And again, I don't even know why, but I just got up and just came straight here.
Yeah.
And I've been in the kitchen with my laptop working for hours.
So are we expecting a crash sometimes later? Is it going to be a surprise? We just don't know today.
I have no idea. I have no idea. So here I am.
What do you do?
I took a pill.
I
took someone else's pill. And I mean, yes, it's an over-the-counter medicine, whatever. But it just goes to show you, if you put a pill in my hand, boom.
And a cup. You went and got a cup of water.
I
you
took
did
care
it
of
all.
that. I took care of that myself. I'm just like, well, take it, whatever. I still cannot believe that I just took it. And it makes sense. I had the medicine in my hand. I did all the work to open it. And I feel like that the problem was if I hadn't gotten the thing on the phone.
Sure, you wouldn't have been distracted.
I wouldn't have. But like when you distracted me, I was like, you know me, I'll just take all the pills.
Here I go.
Boop, take the pill.
Well, sorry about the Benadryl.
What? Who does that?
Thank goodness it wasn't anything worse.
Who just pops pills? I'm a pill popper now, guys.
Actually, probably you're not the only one, I bet.
That's what I do. I just pop a pill. What the heck?
A Rotten Tomatoes score so high, they refuse to make it public. The Riot on RadioU.
Anybody else feel like they need a cup of coffee right now? Great news!
Add some more to it.
Great news!
Because you're not having enough.
Okay, here's what's happening. There is, what was the British Cardiovascular Society Conference? It's happening in Manchester. There's going to be some research that's going to be presented that was partially funded by the British Heart Foundation. It's coffee research. So I didn't even know this was a thing, but apparently they think too much coffee is bad for you because it, quote, stiffens your arteries.
Really?
Yeah, it's news to me.
I just thought it just would do stuff to your heart and just, make your body not able to handle things and you just kind of lose it.
See, that's what I thought. My thought was like, well, you shouldn't drink so much coffee because your heart's going to beat faster and eventually you end up punching all your coworkers.
Yeah. So
not that we've seen that kind of behavior.
It's not the medical term officially, but
but apparently one of the big concerns with coffee was the stiffening of the arteries that leads to stroke. Mm-hmm. And here's what they found. They took a bunch of very lucky people
who were a part of a coffee study.
And they had some that got less than a cup a day and then some that got 5 cups a day. And those 5 cuppers and those less than a cuppers did, in fact, not show any difference in their arteries.
In the hardening of it?
Mm-hmm, that's right.
So that led to them saying that we can have way more cups of coffee.
Okay, that's the thing that I don't understand, because the headline of the article
is telling us way more.
Says that you can have up to 25 cups a day. And so what they found is that they had in that group, they had people that drank like less than a cup or they had 5 or more cups. And some people in that study group drank 25 cups of coffee a day. And those people
were fine.
Showed no less hardening of the arteries than the others. Now, let's also keep in mind, though, the article doesn't tell the whole story because they're literally talking about one thing.
Yeah.
Coffee could have other effects on your body. They're just saying at least you don't have to worry about it stiffening your arteries.
They said they want to study these people more closely in the future so that they can help advise safe limits for coffee. And I feel like the 25 cupper cannot possibly be good for us. That's probably going to be way too much in the long run.
As somebody who does enjoy coffee, let me tell you.
You couldn't do that.
No, I could not. I'm to a place now where I'm probably drinking about 3 cups in the morning. Mm-hmm. And unless I'm desperate, I've been trying to cut out the midday coffee, which is too bad because, Chris puts on a pot and you're just like, hey, let's hang out.
Like, I can have at least 22 more.
We're having yeah. You know what? I'm still drinking a lot less than could be allowed.
Apparently, it could be way worse than that.
25 cups of coffee.
With like the jitters and just the nervousness and the anxiety. I wouldn't even know how that'd be possible for somebody.
I can't fathom what that would do to me. Cannot fathom.
So does anybody drink up to? What's your numbers?
Actually, yeah. Okay.
What is everybody's numbers of cups of coffee?
I love that, Nikki. Text us, 877-2-RADIO-U. I just want to take a brief riot survey. How many cups of coffee are you drinking? And if you have a tumbler that's full, it's like a 24-ouncer, that's 3 cups. That's actually technically 4 cups.
Sure.
According to the FDA, a cup of coffee is 6 ounces, not 8.
Well, Aaron texted said 25 cups of anything really is probably going to kill you.
Unless it's water.
You're right. There is an exception to that, Aaron.
Unless it's water. Come on.
Jason said, on a positive note, 25 cupper, very productive.
Heck yeah.
Thank you, Jason, for texting.
Yeah, and Jake says that decaf is against the Lord's plans.
Well,
you know what? I feel that.
So how many cups of coffee does everybody drink?
All right.
Using advanced technology, we've digitized and transcoded Obadiah and Nikki into a purely digital format. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
I do love a good lawsuit. You guys know that, right? And I really love it when you get a chance to see what their defense is, and it's just crazy. All right, so get a load of this. The Humvee. You know what that is, right?
The Hummer?
The Hummer, the cars that you always see the military driving.
Yeah.
They show up, they're all over the place.
Is a Humvee a Hummer then, or is it just, is it that?
I don't know how they connect, but like the Humvee is the people that make that are suing Activision.
Uh-huh.
And we actually probably talked about this like 2 years ago because they're just like, hey, you have featured the Humvee in basically every Call of Duty game. You haven't paid us a freaking dime. You've put it on, you've used it in art, like you've put it in all this stuff. We own that. You're using it to make money. You owe us. And so they've been suing Activision. And this is the best possible response. Here's a direct quote from Activision's response in court. This case is nothing less than a direct attack on the First Amendment.
That's a bit much. I mean, I guess.
When you attack Activision,
you're attacking
the First Amendment.
That's what it seems like to me.
So they say they should have the right to produce creative works that realistically depict contemporary warfare. And you guys got Humvees. The Army got Humvees. We're depicting the Army. There's going to be Humvees.
You just wonder, though. I mean, so is it in court or is it going to court or have they finished in court?
They are, like, it's not in court yet.
Okay, so no decision has been made. So this is in
the court filing, so they're kind of getting ready for it. And I love it. An attack against this is an attack against the First Amendment.
Activision's going to make this be about America.
Well, you know what? If you think about it, would you expect anything less from the people that give you Call of Duty? You're just like, you know what? You want to come against Call of Duty? Then you know what you're doing? You're coming against all of America.
They got their writers involved in this. Whoever wrote Call of Duty and all the script stuff, they're working on this.
How dare you come after Call of Duty? Call of Duty is the recruiting tool that's been used unofficially by the American military to bring
years
men and women into the war effort for years. What war? We don't know, but war. Aren't we always shooting something? Because that's what we do.
You play the Humvee in the game, you go join, you play the Humvee there.
Man, Call of Duty is America, and America is about a Call of Duty. And I have to ask you, not what your country can do for you, but what can you do for your Humvee? Or something like that. I don't know. Your Honor, this lawsuit needs to be dismissed.
You go to court and Activision's brought in an eagle. It's just right there on the shoulder.
Perched on the shoulder
That's right.
of the lawyer. Like, oh, excuse me, you need to remove the eagle? I'm sorry, you hate America?
That's your lawyer.
He is the lawyer.
He's here, sir. I think that'd be awesome. You could totally go really far with that.
I love it so much. so much.
We will keep you updated then if there's any further news on Activision and the Humvee thing.
He walks in wearing a suit that has the Constitution printed on it.
Yes.
Big tie just down at We the People.
Again, the eagle, right?
Yeah, and just be like, I'm sorry the people that make the Humvee want us to pay King George's taxes.
Oh, boy, yeah.
But
I almost wish it gets to that point so they can do that.
Please, can I be there for that? You know what? I should be a lawyer. I should be doing that.
No, this is only TV lawyer stuff. It has to be in a show.
You know what? I'm the grinder. Bring me in. I'm going to get this thing shut down.
How to survive the riot. Do the complete opposite of everything they say. You're listening to The Riot on Radio U.
Sure. We were all disappointed in the Sonic the Hedgehog trailer. Many of us sat around all night in some sort of an existential funk, wondering how we could go on living in a world where someone decided to put all that money into that movie.
Well, at the beginning, it was like, oh, Sonic looks terrible. But then when the bigger trailer came out, it just seemed like that's the tip of the iceberg. There seemed to be a lot of problems with that. It didn't look like a very good movie.
No, not even at all. And I can only assume that the Centers for Disease Control completely agree with us. That's all I can assume, Nikki.
But you do know, and everybody does realize, that Sonic's been pushed back for quite some time because
it's been moved back to Valentine's Day.
Oh, it's a wrong date for that. But because it looked so bad that so many people were commenting on it that they need more time to...
Oh, they're redoing Sonic.
To fix it.
They're redoing Sonic.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not going to stop this. The CDC, the Centers for Disease Control, the place where you go when the zombie apocalypse happens... And then you have
norovirus outbreak.
Mm-hmm. It looks like we're now up to 27 people in 9 states that have received salmonella from their pet hedgehogs.
Oh, is that a thing?
Yeah. So
how did they get it?
The CDC has had to come out and say, hey, you have to stop snuggling with your hedgehogs.
Is it because your hedgehog is touching unwashed chicken or how's it getting it?
Your hedgehog gets into the chicken.
He does.
And then pretty soon you're kissing the hedgehog.
And now you have it.
Now you get salmonella. Here we go. This is from the CDC. This is not just me willy-nilly making things up like how Nikki doesn't want to go to space. Don't kiss or snuggle hedgehogs because this can spread salmonella germs to your face and mouth and make you sick. Don't let hedgehogs roam freely in areas where food is prepared or stored, such as kitchens. Because, right now, even as we speak, my hedgehog is wandering through the fridge. No
Collecting
doubt.
all the gold coins.
You know what, guys, look.
Some people have different pets. It's a different thing.
I don't understand it. I don't understand the need for pets. Can you not be sufficient on your own?
Why? Well, no, it's more they need someone to help them, too.
Get a book. Okay.
About hedgehogs?
Sure. Whatever. Find yourself a nice novel. Hedgehogs don't need us. If hedgehogs needed us, then the hedgehog would be extinct.
No, that's not how it is. Why can't... I don't know how to argue this one. Like with dogs and cats, they need us.
No, they don't.
They do. My dog would never make it out of the house.
Well, that's because you brought him into the house instead of leaving him with his people.
No.
Where he would learn the survival skills that he needed.
He couldn't possibly. He can't.
Yes, he could.
So with hedgehogs...
Or he would die, but Nikki, that's the rule of the wild.
Oh, that's awful.
Lion would eat him. And the hedgehog.
Okay, I if they're at then, if all that's...
Maybe he's in Africa now. We don't know
if
you hadn't intervened.
If you had a hedgehog, that's just a heads up for you that they should not be wandering around the kitchen, picking up stuff, and then when you cuddle with them, you're getting salmonella.
I just want to say that I feel like, again, the CDC is laying the groundwork for what will no doubt be a press release coming early next February telling you that if you don't want to be bitterly disappointed, don't go see the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. And if you don't want salmonella, don't snuggle or kiss a hedgehog.
Well, this is worrisome. They don't want it to spread because the movie's been pushed to Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
If you have a hedgehog and you snuggle and kiss your hedgehog, and then you go on a date and you snuggle and kiss your date, and it's on Valentine's, and before you we have like an epidemic.
No, this is how it works, Nikki. You go see Sonic the Hedgehog because you're so lonely on Valentine's Day.
Yes.
You go alone. Then you go home.
You go home.
And you're so desperate for any kind of affection that you snuggle with your hedgehog. And then the next thing you know,
you're like, why am I so
salmonella.
sick, doctor?
I don't understand what's happening.
I mean, I don't think I have it. And then you have it.
I was perfectly healthy. Then I went to see Sonic the Hedgehog. Maybe I got it at the theater. Okay, stop right there. After the movie, did you find yourself snuggling or kissing a hedgehog? Yes? Salmonella.
That's where it is.
That's where it happened.
If you're looking for all the funny moments you missed during the riot, we apologize. You won't find them here. There weren't any. This is the worst of the Riot podcast.
So.
Yes. The lady.
Guys, listen. I want you to know that as bad as you think things can get, they can always get a little worse. Like, in fact, let's go ahead with a lot. So there's a woman in Arizona who she took a little fall at Piestewa Peak.
Yeah, she was in Arizona, and she needed to have a mountain rescue in the Phoenix area.
So they went ahead and they had to airlift her out.
She's 74 years old.
74 years old.
Keep that in context.
And it's hard for us to really explain. I think we're going to have to post the video so you can see it.
Well, you know the basket that they put you in if you're going to
airlift you out.
to be airlifted like a stretcher, but then you're all wrapped up. Mm-hmm. They said that a line that is usually there to stop the basket from spinning when the helicopter airlifts you out to go take you to get help. The line for that broke right when they had taken off.
Mm-hmm. So she begins to spin, and it looks like her basket is attached to the blades on the helicopter.
It's that fast.
She is spinning so fast that just looking at it, you're like, oh, there's not a person in there.
I thought you could, you'd die if you spun that fast.
There couldn't possibly be a person in there.
They said that she had no ill effect, but they said there was a little bit of dizziness and nausea after the rescue.
Do you think?
But you really do need to, you have to post it, because unless you see how fast this thing is spinning and how long it spins for that time, you're just not really getting it. We can't convey how bad it is.
It's insane. I'm going over to RadioU Riot on Facebook, and I'm going to post it there because I just want you to know things can get worse. You're like, man, I was hiking and I fell and I think I may have hurt my neck bad.
No, here comes the worst part.
I'm bleeding and all this stuff, and it's like, oh, you're here. Thank you. You're here to save me. Oh, gosh.
Stop spinning.
Oh, no.
And
put me back down. I'll crawl home.
You need to really look at the movements of the helicopter after it starts spinning, because you'll notice it goes up and down a little bit, like they don't know what they're going to do.
They can't figure out what to do.
And then the guy's foot from the helicopter, I think he's trying to slow the spin, or I don't know what he's doing, but you could just see movement where they're trying to figure it out. And eventually they don't do anything but just go up higher, and it slows down a little bit, but she is still spinning.
I mean, there you are. You're terrified of them taking you away in the helicopter, and you're like, you know what, Mom, it's going to be fine. These people know what they're doing. You don't have anything to worry about. They're going to take care of you. Finally, everything's going to be okay. And there's your little grandma. She's scared.
74 years old.
She's scared, but she's hurt, and she has to trust these people.
She's being brave. I would have thought that you'd spin right on off the thing. I know they have you in, but I would have thought the whole thing would have completely broke.
Oh, my gosh.
So we'll post it at RadioU Riot so that you can watch the video. And I've had a couple people ask us to email or message them the link back. So we'll send it to you, too, if you just text us.
Sure. If you need it, you know where we are.
Because it's important that you watch this morning.
I'm telling you, man.
It'll put your day in a better place.
Yeah. Because, at the very least, this hasn't happened yet.
So if you want to text us, 877-2-RADIO-U. Otherwise, it's getting posted at RadioU Riot, which is our Facebook page, which you should be following anyways.
Things are never as bad as they seem, except when it comes to the riot. Then, they're worse. They're always worse. It's the Riot on RadioU.
what's the maddest you think you've ever been at somebody? You don't have to use names.
No, it's not you. I'm sure I've been more mad at somebody else.
Oh, no, I know it's not me. You've never been mad at me before.
Never, ever, ever.
No, it's fine. How can you be mad at perfection? Just angry because you can't achieve it? I get it.
Yeah, I'd be mad more at myself.
Yes.
Not from what you've done, but because of how I can't handle it.
You would be lashing out at me, but it would be your own imperfection
my
that was
own
bothering
fault.
you. Yes.
Yeah, okay, I got a couple examples in my head. I'm not going to share them, but...
Right, no, I wouldn't. Did you ever throw anything?
Yeah, I probably have.
At the person?
No.
Never?
But probably just, out
like at the wall or something?
Out of the wall, yeah.
Okay, right. Never... maybe spilled something on them intentionally, poured like a cup on them.
Like if you're watching someone fight and they slapped each other and then they toss the drink at them.
throw the drink in their face.
No, I've never done that.
That'd be kind of awesome, actually. Somebody throws a drink in your face and you're like...
Oh, yeah? I think what happens is if I'm really in an intense situation where I'm really, really mad at someone, I go the other way and I get really upset and I just kind of really back off. But I'm so angry, but I just back off because I just can't be around it.
Because otherwise I'd
be afraid what would happen.
Yeah. Well, we've got a man in Florida here who's facing charges of domestic battery. His name's Peter. His girlfriend, being the victim, is not named. And so when you find out what she was a victim of, this is where it gets weird. He says that she's been cheating on him, and he's really angry with her. So at about 4:45 a.m. on Sunday morning, which... given what's about to happen, I feel like this was not his Sunday morning, but was actually his Saturday night.
He was still up. I get what you're saying.
I think he was still up.
It's not like they were waking up and then fighting.
Yeah. And so she woke up to find that he had been pouring ketchup all over her.
Isn't that weird?
What?
Maybe she hated ketchup. Maybe that was like a very personal insult to her.
Yeah.
Whereas you love ketchup.
I know. I would just the thing that would upset me was that we're wasting the ketchup.
Or if not, it's like it's a miracle. It's coming down from heaven.
Like, listen, it's fine. This is not an insult, but like this is a real waste.
And we hate to see that. You're scraping it off your body to put it back in.
Trying to put it back in the jar.
But like maybe she totally hates ketchup and he knows that.
And he was pouring ketchup on her, screaming, "That's what you get."
Is it supposed to make her think maybe he cut her or something and it was like blood?
Well, see, that was my first thought, is like you wake her up and you're like, "Oh my gosh, you're bleeding!"
So then, yeah, you're afraid something happened to you, but really it's just ketchup. And you know it's ketchup. It smells like ketchup. It looks like ketchup.
I love this. She's covered in ketchup. She calls the police. The police show up and she's like, "He's pouring ketchup all over me." And he's like, "I don't know what she's talking about, but he's got ketchup on his pants."
So they know.
So I don't know. He was released from jail. He pleaded not guilty, and he has been ordered to not have any contact with the woman.
I think that's good anyways. They shouldn't be around each other.
But the interesting thing here is like they have each been arrested for battery. Both for beating each other, apparently.
For back and forth.
Yeah, so they just go back and forth.
Maybe she's like at night pouring mustard on him or something, and like she just never called in the cops on it, and he's doing ketchup.
In April, she was arrested for hitting him. Okay, like at some point, aren't you just like, you know what? Maybe we'd be better off apart.
That's what I was going to say. Here's what I think we can take it from this situation. If you find yourself in a relationship where you're back and forth all the time, you're going to have to just break it off and find someone else that you work better with.
Well, somebody that's not going to waste the ketchup.
Pretty much. And you're not going to go fighting with each other every time. You're not meant to be.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I want you guys to know, after this news story,
for me.
We have two options. We have Gavi Fight For Me or Ledger Warrior.
Well, I think the Fight For Me will play, but it is no way associated with what we just talked about.
We didn't mean to.
It just was supposed to play anyways.
Worst of the Riot podcast.
So Nick, the news guy who you hear, is out today, and he's out tomorrow because yesterday he had a wisdom tooth pulled.
Yeah, he had one removed.
Now get a load of this. He told me, because I checked in with him last night, not talking, texting, because I don't even know if he can talk.
I mean, he did have a tooth removed. That can cause problems.
So he said that guy comes in, they basically numbed half his face. He comes in with pliers, 5 minutes later, done.
He's done.
That's it.
I mean, I guess when you only have one done, maybe his was so like ready to go, it didn't cause any problems. Why is that so easy though?
I don't know. Doesn't sound like it was a big deal for him. Mine went on for somewhere between an hour and 15 minutes and an hour and a half. And
yours, didn't they say that yours broke apart too, or like they were so impacted you had to really get them out? For him, maybe his was just like, we're coming out. It's just one of them.
Yeah, they said they were chipping pieces off my jaw because they couldn't get it to come off, which is just
what you want to hear after. I mean, that means they got all the pieces.
It was a great experience, and I'm so glad I did it.
Are you glad Nick had a good time?
I mean, yes,
compared to the horror stories that we've also heard.
I mean, it's not like I wanted him to be a train wreck. It's just one of those things when the thing that's really hard for you, someone does with the greatest of ease. It's just one more thing where you're like, man, seriously?
You wonder then what's really wrong with you? You're like, why was it so hard?
Why is it that I am seemingly selected out of the masses for, hey, this could go wrong, but it never does, and don't worry.
Listen, I bet you if he had all 4 of them taken out, it would have been a lot harder.
Sure.
Okay.
I'm going to keep telling myself that as just a matter of comfort.
Yeah, I mean,
as the day progresses.
And plus, then he missed out on like the Twilight stuff. Like he didn't even get to take a good nap with that stuff.
I didn't have like fun with that, though. Here's the thing I do remember. I do remember my dad basically babysitting me for the majority of the day. So, like, he took me to have it done and whatever. And they told me to get, like, as soon as it was over, that I could eat something but get soft foods or whatever and to get some food in my stomach. Because, you know why they want you to do that? Because you're bleeding down your throat.
Well, it's going to make you nauseous and you need food. And then also your pain medicine will make you nauseous. So you need more food. I
remember my dad taking us to KFC and we went into CVS to get my pain medicine and whatever the heck else I had to take. And he left me in the car with the KFC. And I remember trying to drink the gravy. And he came out and he's just like, what are you doing? And I remember just somehow thinking that I had to. But I remember thinking like I had to eat something, like, because they were so like hardcore about it. And I remember thinking that I can't eat the mashed potatoes, but I could drink some of this gravy and it would help.
So you have to drink it.
And I know I made a mess, but like I don't know. And I can remember enough of it for it being like, no, this makes sense. Like, this is what I need to drink. So
do you think we should check with Nick and maybe send him some gravy? Yeah, be like, here, cheers.
I think he's doing fine. He also, next Thursday, so a week from today, we're doing the RIOT live game night thing. When he got done having his teeth pulled, I checked in with him, and he was producing a spot, which we better listen to it before we air it.
But otherwise, he's been working.
Other than that, he seems like he must be doing.
Well, good. Well, I'm glad, because the harder thing about if you're having any wisdom teeth removed is, like, if you're over 15, it gets harder and harder, like, every year. So it's better to pull them when you're younger, but Nick never did.
Well, best of luck to him. That's all I know.
He's
sleeping in right now.
I think if you've not had him pulled yet and you're always listening to us talk about like, oh, your wisdom teeth getting pulled and the perils that can come with it, you should be like, listen, I think I need to get them pulled. And
do it now.
Even if they're not bothering you as much, get them all pulled.
If you think it's in your future at all, do it now, man.
Unless you want to drink gravy. Maybe that sounds good.
And then you can blame it on the drugs at least. It's not me. It's the medicine.
It's the medicine made me drink all that.
It's not my fault.
Are people really still listening to the RIOT? You don't have work to do or laundry to fold or literally anything else to do? The RIOT, RadioU.
You get invited to your 3-year-old cousin's birthday party, and you're like, yeah, I'll go. It's going to be so cute.
Listen, sometimes you just want cake, right? And you go where the cake is.
I don't know. I think when kids are 3, they're still cute enough that you're like, yeah, I'm on board. It's when you get invited to like an 8-year-old's birthday party and you're like, I'm out. I'm out. Call me again for the grad party.
I'll come then.
Wait, is there going to be cake? Okay, I'm coming.
I'm still coming.
All right, I'm fine with that. So there's a girl. Her name is Lucia, and for her 3rd birthday, she wanted to have a birthday party that was themed after The Nun.
Oh, then from the movie?
The horror film. Have you seen the pictures?
Why would you want that? What parent is letting them watch that?
Well, in fairness, I can confirm that it was not a parent, but was in fact a grandparent. She said she was at her grandma's house, and I don't know if it came on or what, but she wanted to keep watching it, and she watched the whole movie. And then when it was over, she was like, I want to have a nun birthday party. So there are all these pictures with her and this paper mache nun that someone made for her.
It is so weird.
And then...
and she's dressed up like it?
Yep.
Well, that is something.
It really is?
I mean, it's whatever, but The Nun is a bit of a harder movie for a 3-year-old to be able to understand.
It seems... like it's a little much.
Boy. But maybe when you're at 3...
You're not getting it.
You're not getting the scary part of it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I would think you would, but maybe not.
I don't know. I feel like maybe you're not young enough to know that's supposed to be afraid. You're just like, that funny old lady is like...
Look at her face.
Scaring everybody. That's hilarious.
So apparently the actress who played the nun contacted the little girl's mom, offered to send her a gift as well. So people were enjoying this.
Shut up. The actress is like, you know what? Real talk. It's the first time anybody's cared.
Someone has appreciated this movie that I was in.
I never get invited to things.
So if you scroll down, there's lots of other people who's like done a Chucky birthday party and
Child's
a few others.
Play.
Yeah.
And let's see. Oh my gosh, there's fan art for it now. For this girl's birthday party, there's fan art. Wow. Okay, sure. You know what? It's great. Why not? Now, Nikki, here's the question I have to ask you. If I told you that you had to have a horror movie themed birthday party.
Like my age now?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I'm fine.
No. I want to know what you would pick.
Oh, I thought you meant like, would I be bothered?
I don't think that's going to be it.
I'll just close my eyes.
See, I already have one picked out for you.
For me?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Well, I never watched a lot of scary movies, so I don't know. I could make a statement and pick a non-scary movie, but say it really is.
It's existential terror?
Yeah, exactly. Something like that. What do you think?
Oh, I think it would be perfect for you.
No, the clown?
Balloons,
no.
Nikki.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
All those balloons.
Just nothing but red balloons
There's
everywhere.
Just red balloons everywhere. And you would be like, this is my favorite birthday party.
Ever. I don't even mind the clown. I love balloons. So you're right. That could be a bit.
It is perfect. So, I mean, that's just a thought. For me, if I had to choose a horror movie I didn't think about me. I just immediately thought about you.
Thank you for doing that. That is so sweet.
I know, right?
You're like, which character should we choose to make Nikki's birthday scary? That is so nice.
Well, I like seeing a lot of people accuse me of being selfish.
Not at all.
But I think this just proves that I'm not selfish. I'm putting your birthday first, Nikki.
Thank you. Even though in the line of things, yours is next. Your birthday will come up.
I should check with Nick and see when it's okay for us to celebrate your birthday. But after I check with Nick, I'm definitely...
Oh, then we'll see.
You're definitely up first, Nikki.
You could go to the balloon store, even though there's a helium shortage. So balloons are a thing. It's hard to...
Is that real?
Yeah, remember with Party City and all those other places, they're losing a lot of they're having a very hard time because there's a helium shortage and they cannot keep up with the demand for parties.
And they're like, hey, you know what? It's fine. Now we're out of balloons, but have you thought about this scary nun doll that we had?
You go, but there's literally only one red balloon at the whole birthday party because you can't afford more than that and the store doesn't have enough.
I don't know. One red balloon might be more terrifying.
This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Now, Nikki, let's say that you've got a roommate or a friend or maybe even some of the animals that you share the office space with.
Sure.
All right, let's say they've got a 2-liter that they've left out.
A soda, sure.
And it's just sat out and it's been there forever.
Yeah.
It's just been there and been there. And you're like, you know what? It's time to throw it away.
Yeah.
The lid's off. It's obviously flat. Just throw it away. Do you, 1, just leave it there? 2, throw it away, or 3, yell at the person to throw it away?
I'd probably just pour it down the sink and throw it away.
Probably just throw it away.
Yeah, no need to add the yelling part to it.
Yeah, you're not feeling that?
No, but I would throw it out.
I mean, Charlotte doesn't exactly agree with you, Nikki.
Why? What did Charlotte do?
Well, the thing is that there was a half-empty Big Red 2-liter.
Big Red? The drink?
Big Red.
Yeah.
That was sitting out. Mm-hmm. And, she was tired of throwing it away. she got in a bit of an argument over the fact that it hadn't been thrown away, which, you feel like maybe this argument is about other things.
Yeah, but this is just the tip of that big red iceberg.
Yeah. I mean, this was the flashpoint, but, like him not throwing away Big Red was really a way of showing that he didn't love her or something like that. You understand.
Something that went far deeper.
Yeah.
Were they together or just roommates?
No, this was a guy and his live-in girlfriend.
I gotcha.
I guess she's the live-in girlfriend and he's not the live-in boyfriend because his name's on the lease. I don't understand that right there.
Trying to make a point that he maybe owns it.
Yeah, but when he didn't throw it away, she grabbed a metal pipe and began banging.
Oh, no.
Like went into the bedroom and just started trashing everything.
Okay.
But, again, you got to see that for what it is. That's communicating. Like, if you won't get rid of trash here, I'll create trash here.
I would have thought you said she would have started like wailing on him with the big red soda thing, but instead she's using something even harder.
Yeah, well, when he went into the bedroom and it was like, you got to stop it, she started hitting him with the metal pipe. And then, then the police show up and everything.
You're right, though. It feels like they are having communication issues and they haven't been talking well about other stuff. And this was just the last straw.
I just feel like you want to set him down and be like, okay, all right, Charla, and person, I'm going to show you some photos, and I want us to talk about our feelings when we see the photos. So, okay. Now, remember, when the other person's talking, then you're not talking. And I also want us to use the kind of language where we own our feelings. Okay, Charlotte? So you can't say, he makes me mad. You say, I become angry when.
Look at that, diffusing it.
Yeah, and so, okay, I want you to own your feelings. Now, here's a photo of a half-empty Big Red 2-liter. How do you feel right now?
Well, she's all red.
She's
all red and she got mad.
So, okay, I know that you want to pick up a metal pipe, but I want you to use your words. How do you feel right now?
I don't feel like they need a break, maybe.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you're living with someone, it can be too much, and it's not right for you.
You just need a little time apart. It doesn't have to be weird. It can just be, you know what? I'm going to go out for the night and leave you with your stupid Big Red 2-liter.
And then see if you like it in the morning, because I'm never coming back.
You're listening to a morning show hosted by two people who absolutely despise getting up in the morning.
Will you give me a break one time?
The Riot, RadioU.
I hope you didn't make any mistakes this weekend. And I hope there weren't any cameras around. Oh, wait. That place doesn't exist on Earth. Because everywhere we go, we're carrying cameras. And we take pictures and video. And people are like, I got this mistake and I'm uploading it right now. I'm not going to get into what story it is, but I was reading a story this morning about somebody who made a mistake, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. And by mistake, I mean chose wrong behavior on purpose and enacted it. But it's fascinating to me how long our memory is as a society, especially now, because everything gets caught. And the other thing that amazes me is, you find out somebody did something 10 years ago, and you may have loved and respected them, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, whoa, wait a minute. I just want to let you know, one, I got things I did 10, 15 years ago. I don't know, maybe over the weekend. You would be like, I've lost all respect for him. I can no longer listen to what he has to say. And that's fine. Like, you do what you got to do. And I get it, too. Like, sometimes somebody does something and you're like, ooh, the road back is long on that one. But if you notice the other thing, that society is very quick to forgive people that it just seems to randomly decide it's okay that they did it. But a bunch of other people, they're like, oh, not them. No. Until they can come out with a hit movie again, we can't forgive them for what they've done.
Does not always make sense.
But as soon as they got a hit movie or a hit TV show or a hit single, we're going to be okay with it. It's fine. That's just who they are. It's no big deal. Here's what I love. I don't care whether you've got a hit book, a hit single, an amazing blog post, whatever it is. I want you to know that forgiveness is for everybody who wants it, period. Jesus literally says that we can all come to him, ask for forgiveness, and he wants to restore us in a relationship with God, in our relationship with others, et cetera, et cetera. Like, God wants to set our feet on the right path, in a good place. He wants to take us from where we are and put us somewhere better. And I'll tell you, like, it can be a journey. You can be forgiven right away, but, sometimes it does take time to change. Sometimes it does take time to quit something or start something or whatever. But do you know that God's going to be with you the entire time? And he forgives you. A lot of people will be like, I'm going to leave you around, but at important moments, I'm going to bring this back up. just so I can lord it over you. God's not like that. If you don't have a relationship with him, I feel like you're missing out. You should ask him, Jesus, I want that. I want you to come into my life. I need you to forgive me. I've done some stuff that I really wish I hadn't. Forgive me. Show me a better way to do things. I want us to be friends. Man, it's a great place to start. God's going to be walking with you all day, no matter what you did this weekend or 10 weeks ago or 10 years ago or whatever.
The Riot Podcast. RadioU.
You're making a face like you don't like what you're reading.
We're skipping that. We're not doing that.
That's a pass. You know it's bad if we're passing on it.
Yeah, dude, these words are so fantastic. Are you ready for this? There's a team of Canadian professors that have been doing some kind of research, blah, 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 whatever. And they say that we have got to drop dodgeball from gym class. They say dodgeball is, and I quote, a dehumanizing tool of oppression.
The worst out of all like the gym games?
Yeah, I mean, it's basically you selecting someone for elimination.
Yeah.
But I like that's a great, I just love the phrase dehumanizing tool of oppression because I feel like I want to start using that for other things.
Not just gym class games.
Like, hey, I came in and spent some time on the riot. It's a dehumanizing tool of oppression.
Seems like you could add that to all your tweets for like the next, all of your lifetime and it'll work.
So I got more for you here. They say the message of dodgeball is, and I quote, the message is that it's okay to hurt or dehumanize the other. Mm-hmm. Researchers noted that more athletic and authoritative students in the class established rules and practices which saw them gang up on other students. Oh, really? So you're telling me that all the athletic kids have the advantage in the athletic class? Tell me something I don't know.
Don't you feel like all of the games we would play kind of fall under that category,
in
though?
Gym class? Yeah.
So you can't just single out that one.
Listen, any kind of this I will say. I mean, they're right. I like to a certain extent there is something to it, but like can we have fun? I don't know. They say, I've never even heard this, the 5 faces of oppression are reinforced in dodgeball. Exploitation, marginalization, powerlessness, cultural imperialism, and violence. I mean, I don't know about cultural imperialism unless they're meaning an athletic cultural imperialism. Like, kind of see that. But hey, like this weekend, I played, what's that game where you throw the beanbags?
Cornhole.
I played cornhole this weekend. That was a tool of oppression. It was, because guess what? Captain Crooked Arms over here, and that's me.
Can't play it.
Man, I can't throw a little beanbag straight to save my life. To say, if there was a guy stepped up and put a gun to my head and they're like, all right, you got 6 tries.
You wouldn't make it.
And if you don't get this over there, I just sitting on the thing, I'm going to shoot you.
Well,
I'd be like, you know what, man? Just pull the trigger because it's over.
I don't just say that because think back when you were really young and you played dodgeball, like early elementary.
I loved dodgeball.
You didn't have. I think it's the people's problem. Like you're
saying the adults are putting that on it where it's not there.
Well, no, I think we develop into that by high school.
Yeah.
If you're still playing dodgeball in high school, then I don't know where you're going, or like I don't recall playing those games then. But if you're getting older and older, then we start acting out and making it more of a mean thing. But in the very, very young time, you can still play it and be fine.
I don't know. I remember in junior high? But that was like before gym class became serious, at least for us it was.
Yeah.
We used to play this kind of dodgeball called free ball, where there was one person that was the thrower, and then as they would knock people out, they would turn into plants, and you had to sit down and you could throw the ball.
Yeah.
I loved that game.
So then at one point, we all change, and then we take it more personally, and we make it personal.
Yeah, I don't know. I liked dodgeball, and look, I was a large target that couldn't throw well or run fast.
Oh, so it was a hard game.
That's just some honesty for you guys. That's not very nice. No, that is a fair appraisal of what happened.
Hey, so what do you think of Obadiah?
The truth is, he's not a very nice person.
Okay, well, what about Nikki?
The very best there is.
You're listening to The Riot on RadioU.
Okay, let's talk about you and going to bed at night. Nikki, what's your bedtime routine?
Well, I try to wash my face. We brush our teeth, and then that's about it. We look at our phone. That's
You look at your phone until you pass out?
That's the inning. Until it falls down, you've held it in your arms and you're nodding off to where you just drop it on you. And by then you should have plugged it in already so it's charging, or I set mine on my little charging mat and then I fall asleep.
I think it was Edison that used to, when he needed to take a nap, he would put something in his hand and hold his hand out and sit down on a chair. And when it would fall down, he would get up.
Oh, really?
Yep.
That's an interesting trick.
That was like his way to get some rest, as he would do that.
So we don't have a long and lengthy evening routine.
Mm-hmm. So there was a study done, an artificial light study, in which they found that those who expose themselves to artificial light, whether it would be leaving the lights on in your room, or leaving the TV on while you sleep.
Yeah.
Those are actually the two things they studied. So, putting your cell phone in your face, I can't report.
Well, I used to sleep with the TV on when I slept by myself.
Yeah.
Because I just wasn't as comfortable, like if there was no one else in the apartment. And I always just like to have some noise on in the background.
So they say if you fall asleep with that artificial light, they studied 44,000 women, and those that left the lights on over the however many years this went gained an average of 11 pounds.
You're supposed to keep the lights off.
So they say that the light is keeping you from sleeping.
And keeping you from sleeping keeps
and getting
you from
into a deep sleep.
Losing the weight, apparently, or not gaining as much.
Well, I would say it's that, and it's an interesting reflection that you're not sleeping as deeply as you could if you would turn it off.
And if you don't get as much sleep, you tend to be tired. And what is one thing that you tend to do if you're more tired?
Eat.
Yeah, you tend to eat more.
I do. You know what, though? I like to eat all the time.
You get up, you get a snack. The next day, you're sad because you haven't slept enough and you're depressed.
Snack.
You get a snack.
And it just kind of...
It keeps going from there.
Steamrolls.
Before you know it, 11 pounds later, you're not sleeping when you're supposed to.
You know what I do? I always do, I put an earbud in. So I can't see the light, but I listen to something usually before I go to sleep, like while I'm falling asleep.
Earbuds, like as in both ears or just one ear?
No, usually just one.
Just one?
Usually. Because then, and sometimes you have to switch ears if you roll over or something. But
but you at least have some noise going on.
Yeah, and I just focus on the noise and taking the biggest breaths I possibly can. And that usually puts me to sleep.
Well, you wish it would be easier to go to sleep. Some nights yes, some nights no.
Yeah, but I've become weirdly attached to just listening to something. Hey, so I get that, but they're saying, turn the sleep timer on your TV on.
Yeah.
Did you know it has one?
That's a good idea.
A lot of tablets have that, too, that it would cut out the noise or whatever in the middle of the night.
May we suggest our Worst of Riot podcast? You could fall asleep
That'll
with
put you
us
to
in the
sleep right
evening
now.
and then wake up with us in the morning. And you're like, why are they always in my head? Because we're always here.
Because we care.
So might I suggest again, Worst of Riot podcast through riot.radiou.com.
Something to think about.
It's an option, but that's an interesting study. I guess it makes sense.
They're talking in my ear at night. They're singing over the music I love in the morning.
And still talking more.
The worst of the riot is over, but the fun can keep going.
Hey, I saw you checking out my goods.
Check the Riot blog or stalk us on social media.
You want to sample them? A little try before you buy, huh?
Through riot.radiou.com.
Is that
It's nice to
enough?
have alternatives.
It is.
If you're looking for an alternative.
If you're looking